And so again, I say I could never do this. Never say never, because I had also said LA was a place I would never live. So I ended up there for 10 years. So shortly after saying never say never about these people living in the woods, guess what? I'm living in the woods.
Wow.
With the outhouse and the whole 9 yards. And it was so peaceful. I feel like it was so healing. And the people I was there with were wonderful people.
Oh
Um,
man, I bet you learned a ton.
it was so slow. You couldn't drive up to the house that I lived in. You had to walk or ski in the winter.
Whoa.
Um, it was, there were nights that I would ski in the winter with a pack, having gone shopping at the co-op. I was working part-time at the music department at Dartmouth College by then, skiing in the winter with this pack on my back of food, just about in tears because my hands were so cold. Everything was so cold, and I just wanted to get to the house because I knew it would be warm because there was wood heat.
Oh my goodness.
But just
That's a
miserable.
different experience.
Yeah, the whole thing. Here's the funny story. My mother says to me, and I ended up getting a horse. Part of moving to Vermont and then living in the woods, like I had bought a horse because that was part of the dream of living in the country, right? Every girl wants a horse. A lot of girls want a horse, and so I had gotten a horse. That's what I was going to tell you. So I'm out there one day. I'm 35 years old. And a friend of mine wanted he thought he wanted a horse. So we bred my horse. She had a baby, right? So I'm out there one morning kicking the ice out of their buckets. And they're in the woods with us there in the winter. In the summer, they were over on pasture. But and my mother has said to me, here's my mother picturing me living in the woods with an outhouse, et cetera, et cetera. And she had said to me, how can you be living such a hard life? So one day I'm out there kicking the ice out of the buckets, thinking, hard life? Wait a minute. When my mother was my age, she had 5 kids. The hardest thing I have to do is kick the frozen ice out of their buckets on these, under 0-degree morning. That's the hardest thing that I do. What is she talking about?
What is she talking about?
Again, it's this whole relative reality.